I just have to remind myself, I'm like, it's going to be fine. It works out. The jobs come, even if you can't do a certain one, other jobs come. And I think you have to remind yourself to not be in that kind of scarcity mindset. Like, am I charging more than everybody else? I am charging more than other calligraphers in Houston, but I'm not charging more than everybody. And I'm still getting jobs and I'm still hitting my income goals. I'm still making way more than not that I dreamed of, but that I like really thought was a reality. Like if you asked me in 2019 or 2020, yeah, I would want that. But based on how things were going then, did I think it was going to happen? Probably not. I probably wouldn't be able to still be doing what I'm doing, not having a typical 9 to 5 job with that type of schedule if I hadn't joined the Craft Academy. It just wasn't, sustainable really financially. And so it's totally worth it.
All right. Hello, and welcome. I'm so excited because we haven't done one of these interviews in a really, really long time. And I'm so excited to tell Sarah's story. But before we introduce Sarah, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rosie. I'm the calligrapher behind Wandercrafter. I'm also the creator and the founder of the Craft Academy. We help calligraphers create, automate, and scale their calligraphy businesses based on their unique story and methodology. And I did start my business in 2017. So it's been about 7 years now. And I've made so many mistakes from the very beginning, wasted so much time, wasted so much money, and felt like I wanted to help others kind of skip that growing pain. So after developing my methodology and learning all of these mistakes, I've been able to work with my dream brands like Dior, YSL, and Ferrari. And now I'm on a mission to help calligraphy entrepreneurs help accelerate their path to success and work with their dream brands as well. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and drop any questions that you have for me or Sarah as you're watching this video. And now I'm so excited to introduce the lovely Sarah. She is the artist behind the Bow Arts, who used her methodology to transform her calligraphy business. She's been able to travel between 2 different homes in Houston and Northern California. She's taking care of her family and juggling all these things in her life while also building the creative business that she has always dreamed of. And she's only been in the program for about a year. So welcome, Sarah.
Hello.
It's so exciting to have you on here. I know you've been working really, really hard behind the scenes on your business. I'm so thrilled to have you on the channel and in the Craft Academy. It's just amazing to have you. So give us a quick introduction. Tell us about your journey to entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I started my business officially in 2019. And before that, for over a decade, I was a recreation therapist and I worked in residential treatment centers and schools and psychiatric hospitals, primarily with adolescents who had mental and emotional and behavior issues. And while I really loved that work, I got very burned out working at the psychiatric hospitals in Houston. They just, not from the patients, it was from the administration, but I just felt like it wasn't sustainable as far as me being happy and living a balanced life. And so I left that, and I have always loved art and specifically lettering. Like even when I was in elementary school, I would change my style of writing. Like I'm going to write with fat letters. I'm going to make IGs like this, or things that probably other calligraphers can relate to, but not other like 8-year-olds necessarily. And so I had taken an in-person workshop in 2018 for calligraphy, like a dip and ink one. And I just kind of would practice at night. And my fantasy was always to start a calligraphy business. And so I left the psychiatric hospital like Christmas of 2018. So basically 2019. That was my fantasy, was like, and then I'll have a calligraphy business and I can just do that. But I didn't really know how to do it or what would happen or how I would make any money. So, that's where the Craft Academy came in and really helped. But, I had that and I worked part-time from home. So I still felt like I was getting that balance, but I also wasn't really contributing to like finances very much because my business wasn't really making very much money.
Yeah, totally. So did you quit your full-time job in 2019 and then you started the calligraphy business?
Yeah, so I was kind of in the fall of 2018, I had talked to my husband and was like, I want to quit at the end of the year. And he was like, okay. And so I kind of been sort of starting my calligraphy business in fall of 2018, but like officially, I think I got like my doing business as and stuff, maybe in December of 2018, but I really felt like I started in 2019, although I didn't really know what to do. Like
Yeah.
to start it. I was trying, but I was like, I don't know how to get any business. So I didn't
Yeah.
get very much.
As you started your business, what did you serve? Like, what did you do? What clients did you serve?
So when I first started, I mostly just did work for there was like a stationery store I had dropped samples off, and every once in a while she would give me jobs. Wasn't very often. My very first job my husband found on like Nextdoor. Like someone was like posted for like they wanted envelopes calligraphed, and I did it for like super cheap, and I was so nervous and scared the whole time. And then I had a few other jobs that I got from the Houston Calligraphy Guild has a hire calligrapher page. And so I paid to have my information on there. And I got a few jobs from that. But again, it's pretty few and far between. I didn't know. I mean, if I got any job, I was like so excited because I just very rarely got any. And then I would get some from friends and family. And I started selling at a market also in the fall of 2019.
Nice. Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, you have to start somewhere. I know you kind of figured it out. Nextdoor is probably, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone who took a job from Nextdoor. So
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome that your husband helped you out with it and was super supportive. So let's fast forward to today. So you started off your business with envelopes and random calligraphy, didn't really know how to market or who you were serving and what you were selling. You're kind of just doing odds and ends here and there. Fast forward to today, what does your business look like?
So I would say the majority of my business comes from on-site events, and that used to be mostly engraving, but recently I've been getting a lot of inquiries, mostly for hot foiling. So I do on-site like calligraphy, engraving, and hot foiling, and then I am learning bottle painting like as we speak. And so hopefully that will be starting soon. I mean, it is because I'm doing a job in a month, but so I do that. And then I still do some in studio work, and people just find me on Google because of TCA. I rate really high if you Google Houston calligraphy. And so I'll do jobs like that. I'll get sometimes like engraving like a one-off bottle for a bride for her mother, or I did like an anniversary card recently where he had written kind of a poem type thing that he wanted for his wife. And then I still do get envelope orders and like place cards or day of for events. But I would say the majority that I do now is on site.
Amazing. Love that. So you started a business in 2019. When did you join the Craft Academy?
I joined the Craft Academy, I believe it was mid to late July of 2023.
Okay, so we're recording this in October, so it's been a little bit over a year.
Mm-hmm.
What did that shift look like for you from, doing the odds and ends to then joining the Craft Academy, shifting your focus? What did that look like for you? And what was like the primary thing that set your business apart?
So I think that, well, first of all, I realized I was charging like definitely not enough money for what I was doing and the time I was putting in. And I had done a few on-site jobs before I joined the Craft Academy, but then realized I was charging like half as much as I should have been.
Would you mind giving us just a peek into what those numbers look like?
Yeah. So I originally charged $100 an hour for on-site, and I would do it for just 1 hour or 2 hours or 3, whatever they were hiring me for. And so now I charge $200 an hour, and then I do a minimum of 4 hours. Sometimes I'll adjust that for like a local business, or it's like a Tuesday night, and so I don't have probably any other events. So that was a big shift. So I joined the Craft Academy, and as Rosie mentioned, so I live part-time. I live mostly in Houston, but also part-time in San Francisco. That's where I'm from, and my parents still live here, and I come to help. My parents are in their 80s, so I come pretty frequently. And I was here that August of 2023 for about 3 weeks. My dad had some health issues, so I came for a while, but it actually gave me a ton of time to go through the modules at TCA and just kind of focus on that, because I wasn't distracted by my husband or my dog, which I miss them, but it gave me a lot of time to focus on that. And I just was like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get my website up. I had a website before TCA, but it was like embarrassing. I didn't want people to look at it. I'm like, please. I just had it so people like, someone didn't have Instagram, they could see like examples of my work, but it was not looking good. It was not great. And so I now have a website I'm proud of, and that ranks, and that I'm happy for people to look at. And then I started pitching, which I learned from TCA, kind of how to do it. Not that I got every single job I pitched for, but I will say that one of the first people I pitched to in Houston, I did get a 2-day job from them. in October of last year. So that was really exciting. But I learned how to pitch and who I should be pitching to, and thought about what types of companies I wanted to work for, or different companies, event planners, people who may be looking to have on-site calligraphy, or even in studio if they're doing corporate giftings, things like that.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Can you give us an insight into, you don't have to give us the exact number for your income, but what does it look like now as a ballpark?
So this year for 2024, I think right now I'm at about 32,000 gross for the year. I have a couple of jobs I'm like 95% sure I'm going to get. So I think I'll be at about 34. And, it's still only October. So there's still a lot of days left for the holiday season. And that's like, I turned down like a $2,500 job in December because my niece is getting married like the weekend before Christmas, which is awesome for her, but annoying for like me getting jobs. But like, even with having to turn down that job for that, it's like, the weekend before Christmas is very popular. I'm still, hitting my goals, and my gross income last year was like 17,000. So
okay.
I'm
So you doubled your
I'm,
income.
yeah, exactly. And that was like triple what I had ever made before. And I had only been in TCA for like 6 months of 2023.
Oh my gosh, amazing. So just to kind of recap that into one beautiful story, you started your business in 2019, didn't really know what you were doing, and just doing odds and ends here and there, not really charging the full amount or realizing how much you should be charging. Fast forward to July of 2023, you joined the Craft Academy for about 6 months, got through the holiday season and made about 17,000. And then now, in October of 2024, you are expected to gross around 34,000, which is amazing. You are doubling your income from 2023, pretty much what you've made in the 6 months of 2023, which is awesome. I know this holiday season, we're still very, very early in the holiday season right now. We're just now starting to see those bookings come in. So I have no doubt that you are going to more than double, maybe even triple your income, even without the Christmas weekend booking.
Yeah.
Amazing. Congratulations, Sarah. I'm like so happy for you.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah. And just to give you an idea, so I joined the Craft Academy in like July, and I had about 5,000 in gross income. And then I got to 17, like from July to December. I mean, so that's like 12,000, and I had never made more than like 5,000. I really obviously was struggling to have it be a business that wasn't just like a hobby that I was paying like for supplies through it with, to make it actually be something that could help my family pay bills and save for retirement, which is what I wanted to do. So
yeah, absolutely. What do you feel like was the main thing that shifted your business from, the $5,000 income to then 17 to now 34 and like feeling like a real business?
So I think that there's a few things. Like, I started charging what I'm worth and like the market industry rates, which I was totally unaware of. I'm more confident that like my business is like a real business. I have a real website. And even if I don't know the answer to everything, I'm pretty confident that I can figure it out. That's one of the great things about TCA is like the Facebook group, because if I am like, have a question I can't answer or figure out, I know I can go to that, especially if it's in between a coaching call, and people will help me and answer it. And so I'm less afraid when I pitch to people or talk to them, because if I don't know the answer, I know I can find it. And then I think that also lends to like having the confidence to pitch and to be like, you should have it. It's really, your guests will love it. Your clients are going to love it. People will buy more. I had when I did a Mother's Day event this last year, I was engraving for Coty fragrances, so they can only buy those ones and have me engrave it. And so a guy bought one for his mom or something for Mother's Day, and for his mother-in-law or wife, someone else, they liked a different perfume that wasn't Coty, so I couldn't engrave it. And he saw my engraving and he returned the one he bought and bought another one from Coty so that I could engrave it again. And so, being able to tell people like people will buy more, and they'll be happy and excited, and they're going to post about it and engage with your company. And it's going to really connect you to your customer and your clients and your guests in a way that other activations where you just give them something free that's not personalized, that they don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you start to give free things away, I feel like people don't value it as much or
Mhm.
like display it on your vanity or even keep it, right? Like once
Right.
if it's free, then people don't see the value of it, especially if it's not personalized. But
Hmm.
at so many influencer events and, department store events to the point where I know that what we're customizing, people are going to keep and cherish forever and have on their vanity. Um,
Right.
so that they can display it and cherish it forever, especially the refillable bottles now. It's like
Hmm.
perfect for the engravings.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did a Sol de Janeiro event recently, and so I did flowers on them and people's names. And there was like an influencer there who came and she's posted about it, but she was talking with everyone and they're like, yeah, and then if you get a new one, you just save this lid. So you can always have this pretty lid with the flowers you chose and your name on it. And she did post it and it is on display on her vanity. And she's posted about it like multiple times and said, so she got a bunch of free stuff because she was an influencer at that event. She posted multiple times and commented multiple times in the post that her favorite thing was the customized like lid that was on the bottle she got. So
Mhm. Yeah, and it like sets everything apart so well, and people are going to keep it and cherish it and share
yeah.
online. So not only do you have this, display that people will have forever, like if someone were to come visit and use your restroom, like they're going to see,
Hmm.
but
Right.
also posting about it online so that there's brand recognition and then there's just overall like customer satisfaction and people will start to recognize it a lot more because you have this like individual,
Yeah,
customization.
and we at that same event, it was a 2-day event at the
Mhm.
same Sephora, and influencers posted about it. And the next day, people came and were like, "Oh, so and so posted about this. This is how I found out." So they got them a lot of business. They surpassed their like the Sol de Janeiro, their like sales goal for both days. They surpassed it by a lot. So
Amazing. And it's
yeah,
all because of you, Sarah.
yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, amazing. So that was some pretty valuable gems that you just dropped. So if you guys are thinking about pitching, please feel free to rewind and watch that whole thing again because we dropped literally the most valuable gems that you can honestly use for all of your pitching exercises. And then once you actually go out there, you know what to say. So when you started doing your pitching, when you first started the Craft Academy, did you have any brands under your belt already, or was this your first time?
I had done an event for Kendra Scott. I did markets before, which were not profitable really at all. Like at
Mhm.
all. It was kind of just a waste of my time. I mean, it was fine. I'm glad I did them. And now I know it's not for me. But at one of the markets, I spoke to this woman who told me about this. It was like a group for women entrepreneurs. And so I joined it and they sent out a thing that Kendra Scott was looking for women entrepreneur groups to come do pop-ups at
Mhm.
their stores. And so that's the first time I went to Kendra Scott. And then the event manager there said, hey, would you want to come? This was like in September or October of 2022. And she's like, would you come in like for the holidays and customize like gift tags or the gift bags? And I was like, sure. But I had no idea what to charge. I charged 100. And for me, I was like, that's like amazing. I can't believe they're going to pay me that much for like 2 hours. Um, and so I had done one event with Kendra Scott and I did a few with Frasier. I think that was like the first year they started their campaign
Mhm.
where we did the lettering.
Mhm.
But again, I was charging $100 an hour. And some of these events, Houston is huge geographically. I'd be driving like an hour to get to the event, and I wasn't charging travel. And so I had done, I'm trying to remember how 3 to 5 maybe with Frasier the in 20 like the holiday season of 2022. So I'd only worked with those two brands. I'd done one with Kendra Scott and I tried doing more with Kendra Scott before I joined the Craft Academy. And I ended up like doing some gift tags beforehand that I dropped off for Valentine's Day, but that was about it.
Okay, so you did have some experience, and so
Right.
having that, minimal experience along with the lessons from the Craft Academy gave you the confidence to fully pitch.
Yeah.
Tell us about the story where you pitched to a brand and then they hired you for 2 events.
Yeah, so I there is a store in Houston called Bearings and they have 2 locations I feel like it's kind of like a fancy person's Target. Like they have kind of everything. It started off as like a hardware store. So you can get hardware, you can get gardening supplies and like grills, but they have like a fancy gifting section where it's people register there for weddings, like Major League Baseball players who are engaged, like they register there. So like the dessert plates are like $300 or $400 for like the small dessert plates. So they have like a upscale gifting section. They have clothes. They have like every Yeti that exists.
Mhm.
They have like gourmet chocolates. Anyway, so they have all this stuff. And I just remember thinking, when I was going through all the modules, I was like, Barings, I think would be such an ideal client because they're local and the clientele they serve would value it. And they were close to me, like geographically, so it would be easy. But I just thought they would appreciate that. And I knew they did. I followed them on Instagram. And so they would do some kind of pop-up events like, oh, it's this grill. You can come see us grilling on it so that you would buy the grill or do stuff like that. And so I just found the email for like the marketing director. I don't even remember how, like online. I just like looked it up and I found it and I emailed her and I used like the templates from TCA and I set my brand deck, which I also got set up when I was in San Francisco that August. And they wrote me back like pretty quickly. And we met in person and I brought samples of engraving and then they booked me for 2 days in October.
Oh my gosh.
So it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Amazing. So it sounds like you got, I mean, first of all, congratulations again for all of your hard work. I know how hard you work, especially with balancing your family and taking care of your parents and things. So it's amazing that you're able to just really focus in on the Craft Academy, watch all of the lessons, apply the lessons, build your website, your brand deck, and then actually start pitching to brands, honestly, within like the first couple of months, which is a testament to your hard work and, just applying lessons as well. So great job there. Can you tell us about like how you balance your business being in two locations? Because I know you're in Houston, but also San Francisco. How do you maintain the relationship with your clients in both locations? And then how do you like fix your website so that you rank in both?
Yeah, so I would say I work more in Houston than I do San Francisco, but I do get jobs in San Francisco. Typically come home every 3 months for 10 days to 3 weeks. And so I kind of have an idea of when I'm going to be home. It's not going to be during like November and December because I want to be home for Christmas and Thanksgiving with my husband in Houston. And I think it's easier to, if I'm doing multiple events in a week, I'd rather not be also flying in between them. And so I do that. And then in San Francisco, I like next week I'm doing a big tech event and someone posted about it in the Facebook group in TCA and I saw it and I was like, that's when I'm going to be home then anyways. Like this isn't even a special flight. Like I'm home at the end of October every year. And so I sent my email and we emailed back and forth and then they hired me for it. And that was I believe it was August and they paid the invoice immediately and they hired me for an extra hour like 2 weeks ago and they paid that immediately. So it was an ideal client. And so with them, I've just been emailing to keep in contact with them just so they know I'm still coming and that even, since they booked it fairly far in advance. And then most of my clients, especially repeat clients or like the stationery store I do work for, like wedding work with fairly often, they know I'm gone a lot and that I go to San Francisco. So when I came home in August last time, I missed a job because she emailed me about it like while I was at the airport and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. But so she knew that and she knows that's a possibility that I may or may not be gone. Or I had some 2 or 3 in-studio commissions I was working on the week before I left to come home on the 19th of this month. And so I just communicated to the clients like, hey, I have to give it to you by Friday or, I'll be back on the 3rd. And my husband is happy to meet people also. So I give them that option. They need it for like a holiday party in December. So she didn't care about these snow globes that I did for a law office for their corporate gifts. Yeah. But the other people I just met on Friday. So I just let people know in Houston and in San Francisco, like this is when, I have to have it done by this date and you need to get it picked up or you'll have to wait till I'm here the next time or when I'm back there again.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you ever consider subcontracting someone who might be more local, or do you just like pass off those jobs to other TCA members?
I usually just pass them off to other TCA members. I wouldn't be opposed to subcontracting, but it hasn't become an issue yet where people want to book me in both places for the exact same days or times. So far I haven't needed to do that. But yeah, otherwise, if I'm not available, like if I'm in San Francisco, I reach out. There's a fair amount of, I can't remember how many calligraphers in TCA are in Houston. There's, I think, 3 or 4 of
Yeah, I
us.
think it's three.
And so I'll reach out to them, or if they can't do it, there's a few other calligraphers I know in the Houston area that I'll pass it off to. And same with San Francisco. If it's I'm booked in Houston that day, then I would just pass it off usually to someone else.
Yeah, love it. What I love about your just commitment to the Craft Academy is the fact that you're so active in the community. Like I see your name pop up almost every day, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then you come to our coaching calls at least once a week, especially in the very beginning. And, not only do you accept the jobs from the community, but you also pay them forward, which is really what our goal is to, put in the positive energy that you're getting from it back. And so really paying it forward to the community and helping other calligraphers who are newer jumpstart their own calligraphy careers. So it's just amazing to have someone just like you in the community. And I'm really, really happy to not only hear about your success, but to, applaud you for all the hard work that you've put into your business. I'm really, really proud of you.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I have also benefited from people referring, like the tech job I have next week, but also one of my other first on-site jobs I scheduled when I joined TCA was for like a whiskey company that you had put out, like whatever, all these different cities they were looking for. And so it's really exciting. I mean, it's still exciting when I get a job, but especially when you're very first starting, it's really exciting. I was sending bigger invoices. And that's one thing I really love about TCA is that it's community over competition. And I think that's one of the things that drew me to it. Sometimes I'll see, and I think everyone does this, you see everybody else on Instagram or they're posting in the Facebook, like, I have 15 jobs lined up for December. And I'm like, I have 1 or 0, and so then you start second guessing yourself. But I try and remind myself that every time it works out and just trust it, jobs are going to come, and have that kind of abundance mindset that you talk about in module 1. And it always does. Last year I think I only had 1 or 2 jobs scheduled for December. And I was like, this is supposed to be when I'm the most busy. And I still had made way more money than I had made before. And I had made back everything that I paid to join the Craft Academy and then some. And then Janeiro reached out and I booked 7 jobs with them. And so it was, and then I was and I was charging more. So, I mean, I think it was 5 to 7 jobs. But, then I was I just have to remind myself, I'm it's going to be fine. It works out. The jobs come, even if you can't do a certain one, other jobs come. And I think you have to remind yourself to not be in that kind of scarcity mindset. Am I charging more than everybody else? I am charging more than other calligraphers in Houston, but I'm not charging more than everybody. And I'm still getting jobs and I'm still hitting my income goals. I'm still making way more than not that I dreamed of, but that I really thought was a reality. If you asked me in 2019 or 2020, yeah, I would want that. But based on how things were going then, did I think it was going to happen? Probably not.
Wow, that was very impactful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I honestly, you blow me away. The fact that you're able to travel, take care of your parents, take care of your family back at home, and still maintain this awesome blooming business. I just know that there's so much more for you moving forward. I know there's just so much more that we have left to go, and the fact that it's a lifetime membership and I get to hang out with you and see all of your success unfold from the front row seat is just incredible for me. If you could give any piece of tactical advice, what would that be?
Well, I think it would be kind of go along with what I was just saying, to keep that abundance mindset so that you're not freaking out and being I had literally no jobs in January, because I don't think I had any jobs in January, but it's just, and then I was really busy in February and I had, jobs come up. But also that you need to do kind of the groundwork, which I mentioned, it felt lucky to me that I was in San Francisco for longer that August, because like at night, like I wasn't like, I'm gonna watch a show with my husband or we're gonna go do this. It was like, I'm just gonna like sit in my high school bedroom, which looks different, but and like I just would be watching nothing on my computer. And so I was like, let me put that work in. And then, making my website, I had a friend here who does like photography. And so she took my like headshot photos for me. And then, I just put in the time of like, oh, my mom has all this cool stuff I can take cool like kind of flat lays with. But then also updating that. So, which actually I need to do. And that was my plan. I was like, I'm going to be in San Francisco. I can update my website while I'm here, like one night to, include some more client collaborations. And then I have some newer photos that I like a lot better to replace some of the ones in my portfolio on my website. But that's also going to keep my website ranking because Google likes to see that you're updating and it's not just staying the same for like 15 years or however long. So I think being able to do that, it's annoying updating, but it's a lot easier to update than starting over or starting from scratch. So
absolutely. So putting in the groundwork, not only investing your money, but also investing your time and energy into building a sustainable business. That is the number one tactical advice that I always give to is like really invest in yourself. What you plant today is what is going to grow for you tomorrow exponentially, but you also want to commit your energy to the things that you know are going to grow. And the Craft Academy, we've been around since 2021. So it's almost, I think we're going into our 4th year very soon. So these methods that we teach are tried and true. We have 180-ish calligraphers in the program now. And, I'm not going to say 100% reach success because that would be a fantasy. But as long as you commit yourself to the program and commit yourself to your business, you are going to be successful. So that's just, amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that, Sarah. Yeah. Where do you see the bow arts going and how is TCA helping you with those goals?
Yeah, so I would like to keep growing and keep kind of doing the same, what I'm doing, the like in-studio commissions as well as a lot of on-site work. I would like it to grow. I think getting like this tech conference job is a really good kind of foot in the door as far as that space goes. That's not quite so seasonal. And then also I just got invited by Jen from She Made It Like That to do like a wedding event planner event with her. We're volunteering our services, but there's going to be like 200 vendors. It'll be a really great networking format for us. And so I think moving in a little more into the wedding on-site. I do wedding, like I mentioned, like envelopes and place cards and stuff like that, but doing some on-site, which I did book my first like wedding reception in December, but doing some more of that, which is seasonal, but not the same season as like Christmas and Thanksgiving. And then actually on our last coaching call, I was talking about how I'm starting to learn bottle painting. And I mentioned that my mom was actually a toll painter, which is kind of like folk art in the like 80s and 90s. And she's painted a ton of stuff. And I had noticed that a lot of the techniques they were using, I was like, that looks like how my mom painted flowers, like when I was a little kid. And then you were like, maybe one day you'll have like a bottle painting course, which I never thought of. And I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. But I kind of opened my eyes. I'm like, oh yeah, like I can still dream a little bigger besides just like doing kind of more of what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so I would like to, it might not necessarily be a bottle painting course, but maybe do some type of online course that people could purchase, whether that's directed at other artists or if it's directed at like newbie calligraphers. I do really enjoy teaching and I've been doing more private lessons as opposed to workshops, but I enjoy that a lot. And so I think that expanding to that and being like, oh yeah, like I could do like a real online course, not just like, here's something you print off, but like with videos and techniques. And so, yeah, I would love to be able to do that.
Oh my gosh.
And that was your idea.
Yeah, so, there's so many good things coming down the pipeline for you. Like, this is just awesome. And what I want to kind of pull out of that story, because you have so many exciting things, but the number one thing that I would love to expand on is just the fact that because you're an entrepreneur, you can transform yourself and transform your business in multiple ways. And just because you've reached a certain goal, whether it's monetary or time or whatever it is, there's always more to grow and improve if that's something that you're looking for. And that's why it's so amazing. Like, again, like we are a lifetime membership program. So the fact that, we got to see Sarah in the very beginning of her business, now she's 1 year later, and there's so much more that she could do if she wants to teach, if she wants to expand her business and include other artists. Like there's just so much more. And I think if you don't have a community behind you to kind of shoot these ideas back and forth, you don't necessarily know or get that spark to shoot for more. And that's what Sarah is really embodying. And I'm honestly so excited. Yay. Okay. I guess the last question that I had for you, Sarah, is, so when you invested in the program in 2023, your income was about $5,000 for the year. Knowing that you didn't really have too much of an income at the time, what inspired you to invest in yourself and in your business to try to take that to the next level?
Right. Well, I knew that if things didn't change, like I wasn't going to be able to stay doing what I was doing. It is nice to work from home part-time, like with your other job, and be home with my dog and have a flexible schedule. I can come help my parents a lot. My dad, like in the last few years, had a brain bleed and he has dementia. So it's really nice that I have the flexibility to come home and help my parents a lot. And I love coming home to San Francisco, but I liked that. And I liked the flexibility if like the plumbers had to come to our house. So like I was there, we didn't have to no one had to take off work. But obviously if I'm making $5,000, it's not really helping out with anything. So I knew that something had to change, or I was gonna have to go back to, a regular 9 to 5, which didn't really want to. And the other thing was I actually met Jen from She Made It Like That at a wedding planner event. And she had mentioned, she's like, she got there late and she was like, oh, I was on a coaching call with my business coach. And in my head, I was like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't really care. I was like, okay. And then we started following each other on Instagram, and she posted stuff about the Craft Academy. And so then I started following you and the Craft Academy and seeing all of this stuff. And I obviously became interested because I was like, this seems like what I need. And then what was awesome is I messaged Jen and she was like, yeah, let's set up a time. You can call me and I'll answer like all your questions. And so I felt like, I was like, how did you make all your money back? Like how soon? And, I made all of the money back that I invested in TCA in 3 months, like after I joined. And then I made even more, like, I made $12,000 in that 6-month period, which I never even made half of that before I joined TCA. And so being able also to talk to someone who was a member and like was seeing results really helped me be like, it was still really scary to me because I was like, that's like, I don't make very much money. And I remember on the first intro call after I joined, Tammy was like, what's kind of your income goal? And I was like, well, I'd like to make like 10,000 before the end of the year. And to me, that was like a crazy number because I'd never even made that much in a whole year. And then I surpassed it. And so, but being able to ask Jen questions and feeling like it's going to be okay. And then it was still scary, but I also was like, I'm going to do everything in these modules. I just paid money for this. I need it to work because otherwise, this kind of dream I have of having a calligraphy business and being able to do art and having all this flexibility, like it's not sustainable for our family, for retirement, for things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am just like imagining little baby Sarah, like doodling at the top of her notebook.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to like 7-year-old Sarah right now?
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I really wanted, like when I was in like elementary school, I wanted to be an artist when I grew up, and that changed over time. I always still loved art and I like painted murals like in college on like, we lived in a basement apartment on like the window well. They painted over it eventually. But so I always loved art, but I would just say like, keep going and to not give up. And that, it wasn't, I think I could have done graphic design or something if I had wanted to in college. I didn't. And I really loved the career I had before, and it was very fulfilling. I think also like 7-year-old Sarah would be really proud of me that like of both the careers I've had when I was helping adolescents who are having issues, but also like now that I'm an artist. And so I think I would just say keep practicing and keep going, and to not, I did limit myself sometimes. I didn't always want to take art classes like in school because I didn't want people to tell me it like wasn't good because my feelings would get hurt. And so I do wish I had done a few more things like that. But to not be scared to be bad at something and to keep trying. If I look at like the first dip and ink stuff I did, like I didn't think it looked that bad, but now I look at it now and I was like, what the, it's not that good either. And so, but it's okay. And now, the calligraphy I can do now, like 5 years ago, I would have been like, what? Like, no way. So you just have to keep going.
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Such a beautiful story, Sarah. I'm over the moon for your success, and I just know there's so much more coming for you. Thank you so much for sharing your story with everyone here and taking the time to chat with me. This was amazing. It was so much fun. I feel like the time went by super quick. So for anyone who's watching, I promise you, rewatch this thing. Time and time again, especially if you're interested in pitching or just need some inspiration. Like, this is such a great interview. I'm so happy that you were able to join me on this today. And this is my first interview since having a baby. So
yeah, this was great.
Like, we're all getting back into it. I'm super excited. This was so great for I think everyone. So I have known Sarah for, what is it now? 15 months-ish? Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud of the growth that she's had. She's been able to work with amazing brands like Sol de Janeiro, Kendra Scott, Michael Kors, Freshenet. She's got so many amazing events coming down the pipeline as well. And being able to balance, coming home to San Francisco to take care of the parents and have a husband and puppy back in Houston. So many things that she's juggling, and she is a rock star, truly. And so for anyone else who is interested in joining the Craft Academy, please feel free to reach out to Sarah. I'll tag her Instagram down below so that you can find her. And if you haven't heard of TCA, it is a step-by-step coaching program on how to go from 0 clients and a non-profitable business and an expensive hobby to now working with your dream clients and building the business of your dreams, whatever that may look like for you. It's got templates for pitches, emails, brand decks, contracts, everything you need, we have it for you. So you can build your business with your niche and build multiple forms of income. Cool. So, all right. If this interview resonated with you and you want this transformation for yourself, please feel free to book a call with me or my team by going to wandercrafter.com/apply, and I'll link that down below as well. We'd love to connect with you. We love connecting with new calligraphers, new artists, and other creatives. So please feel free to book a call with us and chat with a real life human being. Thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time. Any last parting words for our viewers?
Yeah, my husband and I talk about it all the time, how worth it TCA was, that it just really like elevated my business to where, like, I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to still be doing what I'm doing and like not having a typical 9-to-5 job with that type of schedule. If I hadn't joined the Craft Academy, it just wasn't, sustainable really financially. And so, it's totally worth it.
Oh my gosh, yay, girl, I see the chills. I'm like about to cry. I'm like so breastfeeding, so I'm like normal. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much, Sarah. This was amazing. I'm so happy that you decided to join. It was serendipitous that you got to meet with Jen, and then that was your intro to TCA. Thank you so much, Sarah, and we'll see everyone later. Bye.
Bye.